single thread of dead silence, trying to drown out all the noise. I'm trying to make sense of the miserable days that I've led. They're the reason for the hot red blood flowing through me. So come together, it's time to get heard and feel all the tears that you can shed. The dream that we made, the pattern has changed. Now it is blooming as it spreads. The formula's bend, I'm holding my pen. I'm gonna learn the secrets of this life. All the rules that are unknown right now. We want the same thing, the answers to the world. Part of you from right here in this position, I know you had imagined. And from right here, I did the things that till now I have imagined. Even more, pushing way beyond the limits I had imagined. Standing here, right in the spot I thought I dreamed of. Who in the world can find impulse from the pure star we all came from? The force of life is spread so wide in primary colors. Who in this world can find an impulse from pure brightness in our souls? Spreading these, the primary three that make our lives. Sarah is scrapped, a paper all blank. Watched it burning up, then turn to black. But then as it fades, it accumulates. So tell me where the next one's coming back. If tomorrow there's a color somewhere waiting for us, we will paint it with primary colors, the ones that we can see. A single flame to light the dark. I wear it every day, everywhere that I go. There's a dream for peace within my heart, but now it fades every day without any hope. There's a single flame to light the dark. Is this the path you take? Cause I don't know where to go. Doesn't matter, cause we're always dark. A heart that's so warm can never help it. The fire lights our way, guides us when we're led astray, like a melody for us to follow every day. They say there's no eternity, so why do we not fight? I try my best to laugh at it and go and live my life. The things we have that shine so bright will take their life, will die. We walk our path, sharing this burden. We will walk and live our lives until our light burns out. Here's a question, let me ask you why we seem to ignore that our time will soon pass. There's a dream for a peace within my mind, but now it fades every day from knowledge it lacks. Cause it tastes so good, we all indulge, forgetting that we can't stop it riding away. Now the flames of life surround us all, it's heating up the scars we have inside us. The droplets start to rise, dissipating in the light. Every day a brand new memory for us to hold tight. We've got a new idea, found a reason why we're here. When the sun rises again, we find another appears. They say there's no eternity, so why do we not fight? I tried my best to laugh at it, but all I did was cry. The problem where it's hard today could never change its size. We walk our path despite this mortality. We'll protect the source of life until our light burns out. I graduated, still not smart. Can't tell if I have broken my heart. Torn up, I can't keep playing, I'm so frustrated. Can't help wondering if this is all. The toys were back when I was just a kid, along with knowing just like magic we will always heal the treasures I hold. They say there's no eternity, so why do we find we walk our paths carrying this burden? We will walk and live our lives until the light burns out. You ready? Are you excited? Let's go! Keep it up high, run towards the starlight. It's okay to just enjoy the moment. Trembling, I gotta take one step. Drowning, but I gotta take one step. Breathing and I'll start it with one step. Hands down. Why even bother if today never ends? What would it mean if the good times lasted forever? Distraction every day, naturally. Can't let it all get in the way. I'm dreaming, my mind rewinds. I just can't fill the hole inside of my heart. So let's get out, escape from the dark of the night. The future unknown seems to twist and distort itself unless we look straight forward. I'm sick of lying to myself. Got to stand up straight and fight. Hey, hey, hey. Ooh, we got a future. Time to pay for all of my mistakes that I made without an ounce of shame. I moved on and threw my life away. Thank God I got it while I could. I nearly gave it all away to an unknown and empty fate. Dead eyes, they know the price that I paid. And if they could only just focus on today, maybe they'll shine. What's going on? A brand new life, but I still feel left behind. Every day there's something off. Is this what I wanted? What's going on? Is this a game? Cause nobody else is quite the same. The possibilities of opening up. Dance, I cannot feel the meaningless, living nothing at all. New days I see up ahead as I write my very own story. Do your best, are you excited? The turning point, break through the synapse. I'll do it, I'll prove I can handle it all. Hey, hey. Can't fill the hole inside of my heart. So let's get out, escape from the dark of the night. The future unknown seems to twist and distort itself unless we look straight forward. I'm sick of lying to myself. Got to stand up straight and fight. I keep my ideals with me each time. Dreams and love so dangerous, the fuel that we need to light the fire. Goals are ringing out now, my fate is mine. Yeah, mine.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to another Flynn stream. Today is a special podcast type stream, and I'm happy to once again announce the return of Flynncast Fridays. Today we have 3 guests with us that I will be joining in just a few seconds, and we have a vast amount of topics to talk about today, and kind of hope to see what everybody's reactions and get everybody's thoughts. So I hope you guys are kind of excited, and we'll honestly just take it from there, and we'll handle this as a pure podcast type stream. So if you guys have anything you'd like to talk about, if you guys would like to say anything, make sure you kind of speak up in chat. We'll definitely get to you, and we'll take a look at what you got to say. With that, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the Discord where I have my 3 guests, and we'll introduce them one at a time, and then we'll begin our podcast. And then, courtesy of Jen, who literally just messaged me at the last second, he would like to raffle off 3 gift cards at the end. I will provide more details closer to the end of the stream, so once that happens, we'll get to it. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and hop on into the Discord. Just to make sure real quick, can you guys hear me clearly? Is the background music too loud? I hope it's not. Trying to make sure that our voice is going to actually stand out a lot more than our background music today. So let's go ahead and hop into the Discord.
Yo.
How are you guys? Welcome to the stream, and thank you guys for joining me today.
Appreciate you having us.
So I think with everybody in chat, I would like to go ahead and give you guys a chance to quickly introduce yourself, and we'll just quickly go down the list. Big Earl, would you please go ahead and introduce yourself and what your favorite thing about, or what your main thing in Kingsraid is?
Well, I'm Big Earl on NA server. Pretty much just a world boss whale, and that's pretty much it.
An essential PvPer, which is a big part of the game.
Yeah.
All right, Dex, about yourself.
Oh shit, I was on mute. Hi. I'm Dex. I'm another Twitch streamer. Also in NA. Kind of in World Boss and PvE content. Trying to get into PvP, but I don't know when that's happening.
Fair enough. Actually, I'm kind of surprised because all our guests today are actually on the North American server, so there you guys kind of have it. All right, Samiki, would you like to do the honors to be our last guest?
I am Susho Long from the North American server. I mainly try to PvP, but I am not as good as others.
Well, you guys kind of have it now for who our guests are, and you guys obviously know who I am, and if you don't, my name is Flynn, and I am mainly a PvPer. I do scuffed PvP streams on a weekly basis, and I am also one of your creators, which is, I guess, of Vespa's official title for their content creators. And I think with that kind of said, we got kind of all our introductions out the way. I hope you guys are ready, because we got ourselves quite a few topics to talk about. We'll start off with the easy one, and once again, we'll kind of go down the list, so we give everybody, who's that Flynn guy? Yeah, he's not totally the one who's kind of hosting this right now. We'll kind of start off with our first topic, and then we'll just kind of go down the list and have you guys kind of give your thoughts, and then we'll kind of comment on each other's, and we'll move on to the next topic. Does that sound like a good plan?
Sounds good to me.
Pretty good to me.
All right.
Your show.
Here we go. All right. Okay, and it looks like we're having people already coming in here with subs. Can we please not? I love you guys, but
Oh yeah, I need to pay my dinner.
it's good.
Hold
It's
on.
fine.
Hold on, I need to pay my dinner that you for.
Yeah, no, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get the podcast started. First and foremost, let's talk about the state of the game. Big Girl, in your opinion, what do you think the state of the game is?
Honestly, with soul weapons being released and how large a scaling Advanced 2 does, I feel that they should nerf it relatively. I don't know, man. It's like with World Boss, you guys, everyone's already seen like World Boss 3. People have already killed it, and then they had to take World Boss down to buff it. PvP, I mean, we're seeing 50 million plus HP flops and stuff like that. So I don't know. Vespa needs to really balance the game, in my opinion.
I see. I do not disagree with you. And you know what? It's really awesome to actually have a PvE standpoint, because if when I used to do these podcast streams, a lot of the guests were definitely on the PvP side. So honestly, I'm extremely happy that you are giving in input for the PvE side of it.
Perfect.
Dex, what is your feelings on the state of the game?
I mean, after that whole patch with the APK, because most of us play emulators, happy about it.
You think it's a
Really
step in the right
happy
direction?
about it. Well, I mean, giving some credit that people use emulators to actually play this game rather than just on mobile when it's what it's intended for. Yeah, I love it so far with that update. With the state of the game right now, like how I guess heroes are more suited for predict what they try to do for like, and then they're introducing the new Shakma, I think that's how you pronounce his name. That raid, there's gonna be Zera that is specialized in there, but also has some PvP like mana drain type of thing. So it's kind of going back and forth. I'm like, what are they trying to do?
All right. Sue, how about you? What is your feelings on state of the game?
I'm kind of in the same boat as Earl on that one. Like, the introduction to soul weapons kind of really
Came out of nowhere.
well, yeah, it came out of nowhere, but it inflated stats so much that it's putting a big damper on a lot of people that like, I guess aren't able to easily acquire them or stuff like that. So, like, with the limits on like access to the trials each week, it's making it much harder for like those that are much more free to play players to try and stay as competitive or try and, you know, get into the higher ends of different things, because the stat inflation is so much.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go and for my opinion, I'm gonna kind of bounce back to Dex's idea. The fact with the recently released APK for the app players, I gotta be 100% honest, that actually put me in a great mood and in a great position in King's Raid, because I was to the point that I was actually ready to drop streaming using emulators and strictly using my tablet, and I had kind of gotten like an HDMI cord and I was getting ready to start streaming off my tablet, and then they dropped the whole APK, and it did, I will say, it did a phenomenal job at least fixing in that regard. But let's try to word it this way. In the last 2 months, and we'll go back to you, Big Earl, do you think at least Vespa is moving in the right direction in terms of state of the game?
I mean, they've listened to. I'm glad that they did the player feedback and they've taken into consideration what a lot of people provided. So, majority of what I'm looking forward to is after the next update, how they're going to handle soul weapons. I already know that like they talked about soul weapon advanced 3 is off the table for now until they balance the current system. That right there is going to be my biggest takeaway from the game, in my opinion.
Okay. Dex, what about you? Do you think they're at least heading in the right direction?
They are. They're making more connections with us. They're communicating with us now with like all the C Raiders, of course. Like I don't hear anything about it, but like who does like a freaking 6-hour meeting? What the hell? We're supposed to go to dinner.
Yeah, that was definitely on the interesting side. Sabiki, what about you? Do you think they're at least heading in the right direction, or do you think there's still a little bit of question marks there?
I do feel they're moving in the right direction. I mean, it's very apparent with the fact that they're like, yeah, we were going to introduce this, but we're going to actually stop. We're going to try and balance out the state of everything. So it makes me feel like they're going more into a balance aspect of the game, which I think we've all been asking for a long time, is we just want to see some balances rather than more additions, more new things. We want to see things that are existing now be balanced out to a point where everything's kind of applicable. Everybody's kind of got their place or something that they are capable of doing.
Okay. In my honest opinion, I also do feel like they are moving in a positive direction. In terms of how long this will last, I actually still kind of put a few question marks up there, but being a creator and kind of being able to talk to them, I've actually been given lots and lots of hope in terms that they are actually willing to work with us in the player base. So I have a good feeling that, you know what, maybe things will definitely get straightened around. I'm not sure how many of you guys actually watched the producer video, but even the brand new producer himself said 2020 is going to be the year either King's Raid establishes itself or King's Raid ends up dying. So literally for them, at this year is going to be make or break in their opinion. and that hit me pretty dang hard because as a King's Raid player and also as a creator, I love this game. So hearing the fact that even the company's gonna be like, well, 2020 is gonna be make or break for us, and we're gonna try to make sure that we're on the make side of it, that kind of hit home with me. If you guys in chat would like to kind of speak up now and kind of see what your feelings are, would be more than happy to kind of discuss things of that nature. But did you guys actually watch the producer video?
Yeah, I watched bits and pieces of it. Mainly saw like the major posts of it. So
Yeah, I personally didn't get an opportunity to.
I think I watched it on Wednesday, but that was like at 5 a.m. when I was up.
Okay. Subiki, did you watch any portion of the actual producer video?
I did not find an opportunity to, no.
I gotcha. It was actually it was a really long video. I will say it was a long video. It was in Korean as well, but they had English captions, so it was very easy to understand. And they kind of explained the entire plan for the most part and what they were planning on doing. And yes, Giraffe, I do plan on uploading this to YouTube. I've been asked to export all my content to YouTube, so yes, this will be on YouTube. But yes, the actual producer video was extremely long, and they detailed all their failures, what they plan to do with the game, and what their plans for 2020 are. It looks like chat is definitely on the quieter side, so I'm not exactly sure what their feelings for King's Raid are. Hearing some of the things in the producer video just in general from the LA event actually gives me a lot more respect for Vespa myself. That's actually really nice to hear because starting with the LA event, I believe they started doing a phenomenal job in communicating with players. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, so long as they keep it up and actually take player feedback into consideration for their future updates, then I have hope for Vespa.
Yeah.
would
Like, I
agree.
wish there was like a Q&A segment at the LA event because we had a lot of questions. And
We definitely did.
They
We
gave-
definitely did.
they gave little bits. And I'm like, what's coming up? And I'm like, hold on, but what about this? What about that? I'm like, wait, Q&A.
Misk actually is asking, do you guys think that KR will get an influx of players soon? In my honest opinion, if they can fix up the game and get the game to go trending again, because every time they drop a really big patch, the game starts trending on the App Store. And if you guys remember when Soul Weapons first released in September, the application became trending, and there was a lot of brand new players as well as veteran players coming back to the game. Obviously, we know how the Soul Weapon patch hit all of us, so I won't delve too deep into that portion of it. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think if they get Chapter 10 right in the next big patch, do you think we'll get an influx of new players?
Yeah, that's really a tough one to be honest with you. I honestly don't know.
I mean, I personally feel that they definitely could get an influx of new players, but they've got to do something to retain the players that they're getting. I know we had a short conversation on it out at the LA event, or I had heard about it at least, and like the biggest thing that they need to do is retain the players, because a lot of the things that we're seeing is like you get discouraged after a while because you hit a wall or you hit something to where you have to like really struggle and farm through or get so high or wait so long to get like UWs or something along those lines. So it's, I guess, trying to figure out a balance there to where like when they're going to retain the players that they're getting rather than constantly looking for new ones, because you can get new players, but unless they're staying with the game.
Yeah, it's really player retention at this point. Meister actually made a really strong comment, which I honestly full-heartedly believe in, and he said that the game was not ready for Soul Weapons. They were honestly released too prematurely, and as a community we actually knew that. Though with the level cap heading to level 100, it's a perfect opportunity to actually rebalance, and I actually full-heartedly agree with that Soul Weapons are way too offensive, and we need more kind of defensive stats and defensive methods. Crispy Fish Tacos is kind of trolling with Soul Weapon, Soul Armor when. We'll hopefully won't see that too soon.
God.
Giraffe talking about pushing more ads. What do you guys think about actually maybe Vespa potentially advertising?
I mean, Vespa advertising. We all know what they advertise on there. They're gonna if they, I don't. To it depends if they want to cater to a specific player base. Then they're gonna have to reduce the waifu advertising, in my opinion, because it's essentially waifu raid. So,
Waifu's
I mean,
raid.
yeah,
The
I mean
game-
they should. Go ahead.
The game is like what 13 plus or something age requirement. So yeah, more they're gonna pump in more waifus.
Yeah. So kind of.
I do want to add on onto what Sue was saying about like new players getting hitting their wall. Last year they did kind of revamp the whole beginner I guess rewards and all that, and they do hit the wall eventually. Like I would say like chapter 8, sometimes even chapter 7,
Mhm.
and they got baby fed with all the things. So it having them like kind of retain into it, it might be a little harder. Yeah, it's a very weird subject
Okay.
to try kind of like keep people in, because like after that, then Soul Weapon came out, and that widened the gap from like pay to win and free to play. Oof.
And they did say that they will try to address that more carefully in the future. So we'll take a look at what they have plans for that. Misk actually said, "Do you think there will be more reworks in the near future?" I'm pretty sure we're going to be touching a lot more on this topic, so I'm going to bench it for now because with the agenda, I'm pretty sure we're going to come back right to that exact topic because we definitely want to talk
Oh my
about
God,
a little
I'm
bit of
sorry.
balance. Bravel says, as a PvP player, I do feel the hit of Soul Weapon a lot. On one side, you get to diversify your comps even more, but some heroes benefit from the extra strats and some new strategy. On the other note, it becomes a race of who gets more A2s, definitely, and we'll probably address a little more of that again once we hit the balance side of it. Ninetales actually brings up a really good point, and I've actually heard this complaint quite often, especially from players who cannot grind often enough. And he says one thing that they should definitely consider is making it easier to actually do the new chapters. The extra stages can retain their difficulty, but when Chapter 9 came out, I was really hyped at seeing what would happen, but it really killed a lot of my motivation, knowing I wouldn't be able to see any of it without my team being geared out, the butt. It'd be nice if Chapter 10 was more accessible, especially considering the note the story ended on. So what do you guys actually think about the new stories? I'll be honest, what do you think of the difficulty of new chapters when they hit?
Please don't end it at a cliffhanger. I love the lore. Damn.
Yeah, cliffhanger, that sucked.
Yep.
I mean-
Incoming 9.7. It's KR all over. Not KR, but what is it? Kingdom Hearts all over again.
What about the stage difficulty? Do you guys think when they're releasing for newer players, those stages are a little too hard? I know Chapter 8 was quite a cliff for some players, and again, when Chapter 9 released, yeah, they did nerf the difficulty of Chapter 8, but Chapter 9 was also really high on the difficulty.
I mean, it's like when it comes to the chapters, it's I don't know if it's in my opinion, if a player doesn't have a lot of time to play the game to grind out strong enough gear, then they shouldn't consider King's Raid in the long run, because starting out, the game gives you a decent amount of selectors to get pretty good gear in the beginning, but you can't just expect to steamroll it. And I've seen people clear Chapter 9, within a month or so, but they straight grinded through it. So, I mean, it all depends. If Chapter 10 is like going to be to where it requires soul weapons, like the scaling and stats you get from it, then that would definitely be in the wrong direction, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. Dex, what do you think? We may have lost Dex. Okay.
Nope, yeah, I'm still here. Sorry, I was just thinking. Difficulties. Well, just hope I just don't get one shot, but alright.
There you go. Just don't get to one shot.
Just don't die.
Yeah. Have my Roy just dive in like always and get insta-tie. Alright.
All right. So I think with that kind of said, a lot of the stuff that I'm reading in chat right now is probably stuff we're probably going to be touching up on. So I don't want to get kind of too deep into it. Let's go ahead and start our favorite topic, and I'm sure everybody loves this topic. Balancing. Yay.
Oh.
All right, so let's go
Oh.
ahead and we'll just take it one step at a time. Let's start off with PvP balance. Earl,
Buff
I
my
know you.
waifu went.
Earl, I know you're not a big PvPer, and I've spoken to you obviously multiple times in Discord. I've actually heard you just flat out tell us of your distaste for PvP, and you are a PvEer. But let's go ahead and we'll do kind of the full circle. What are your thoughts on the PvP balance as an outsider that would actually help us a lot more?
I mean, we've, at least from me looking in from a PvP standpoint, like we've all seen, you know, like essentially there's an X list of characters that are just dominant in PvP. Like recent Nyla buff, she's rampant everywhere. Kasel's becoming more relevant now. Obviously, Kane, Lemaine, etc. So, soul weapons have added some variety because, I mean, obviously you're seeing a lot of A2, you know, magic DPSs that you probably wouldn't see beforehand. You know, there's some people still trying to run Theo. I mean, there's a Curze main who he's doing PvP and he made it to Challenger and NA with a Curze. So, I mean, in the aspect of diversity, soul weapons and whatnot haven't done anything. Like, if it's anything, it's made the main go-to PvP characters even more broken and powerful, but it has added some slight diversity. So
HP DPS. Oh,
we could all harp on that all day, I bet.
All right, Dex, what are your thoughts on PvP balance?
Buff Roy when? Kidding.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, like there are some left out heroes now because of the soul weapon update that kind of just got shoved to the side. It's weird. And then Nyla got buffed. Nyla was like my PvE type of thing, and they changed out a couple stuff which I liked, and they took away some PvE stuff which are like, damn it. But she's fucking great in PvP now, and that's where she was intended to be, right, at the first time.
All
So-
right.
Hope to see more heroes kind of get back and I don't know, get back. Buff, like Gao, oh my god.
Buff
Like
Gal.
who else? Lorraine's been forgotten.
Who's Lorraine?
Exactly.
Wow. Don't worry, I saw South Squirrel use A2 Lorraine before, so
Yep.
it wasn't too pretty, but
So, Mickey, what about you? What are your thoughts on PvP balance? I know you and I love to have these conversations quite often.
Oh yeah. I mean, as Earl was saying, there's like this like X list of heroes, and if you don't have these built, then you're hurting yourself, honestly. Like, I know I'm someone that doesn't like to abide by the meta. I'm running Nyla now, but I've always liked Nyla.
Same here.
But like, but in that aspect, I mean, there's still things that are running completely rampant throughout the game. Nyx, Maruru, that you see them everywhere. Loman, Juno. I mean, Kane now.
By the way, physical is getting buffed.
Like, you see Sirius around. I mean, like, there's like so many like of these X-list heroes that if you're not running them, then you're just like hurting yourself in the long run, and you're having a harder time when trying to do this. And I mean, I guess, yeah, there is that also aspect of physical versus magical, because a lot of the higher comps you seem to see physical. But again, I was naming off Loman, Juno, Kane, Nyla. I mean, they're all physical heroes that are running rampant. So
So I'm kind of quickly reading chat. Obviously, everybody's giving a shout out to their heroes and removing certain heroes. One of the things that was actually mentioned on the producer video, but I think this applies more to actually PvE than it does to PvP. And they were talking about how Magic is reigning supreme, and that was one of the things they wanted to kind of address. The cool part I've noticed about the actual PvP aspect of it is it honestly depends on your playstyle and your comp. Yes, I will admit that physical has a few overpowered units. One glaring one is Kane, and a second one that crept out of nowhere was definitely Nyla. And you will definitely see those first two heroes either first banned or first picked, no matter what it is in terms of actual League of Honor. And yes, we are getting a lot of Fizz NPCs, and they are just too important for PvP. I actually really agree with Cyrus on that. However, I do want to make mention that Magic is no slouch either, and a lot of Magic are self-sufficient. We can see that in the form of Kibera. Yeah, I mean, there's the first one right there, Kibera coming out in chat. I mean, Kibera is pretty self-sufficient on his own.
But Kibera doesn't do no damage.
But Kibera does no damage, by the way. we knew that
very
from my
awesome.
normal LOH streams. Kibera does no damage. And then on top of that, I mean, we still have Yuria. Yuria's incredibly powerful, and if you get yourself like a fast Yuria, she can immediately dispel with her third skill, and she will nuke you with her first skill if you're not fast enough on the cleanse, because it will ignore both block and defense. So, I mean, Magic is no slouch, but at the moment, in terms of PvP, Physical do have the two most powerful units, followed by Magic holding the third. And I will definitely probably say, without a doubt in my mind, Magic Physical comes first with Kayn and Nyla, and then Magic is right in third with Kibera. And they actually still have an amazing amount of heroes, and Bravo actually threw in a few in there: Kibera, Yuria, Krisha, Dimiel, Sonya. Although I blame HP DPS for Sonya, Sonya is incredibly powerful. Somebody's still saying Artemia can be cancer too. I guess Artemia can be a little cancer.
I mean, you could, and on the Fizz side, you can also name Nikki too. So
there is Nikki. Now, the funny part about it is Nikki was easily in my opinion, was easily unseated with the Nyla revamp. Yeah, with her kind of invalidating Nikki in that aspect. Warriors are beginning to shine a little more in League of Honor. You really don't see too many of them outside of Nyla in League of Victory. So it just kind of depends on what server you play on. But I think with all that, I'm kind of quickly reading through chat. A lot of the thoughts are pretty much kind of like the same. Cyrus coming in with, they please don't buff Fizz anymore. A lot of nerf Kiberas, which is really funny because that is completely it contradicts when Kibera was first released, because everyone was like, oh, Kibera's so weak, he's such a joke. And here we are just a few weeks after his release and everybody's like, oh my god, F Kibera.
Well, I mean, I also remember when you and I started playing the game, it was always, when are we going to get Fizz buffs? Because Magic was dominant then.
And a lot of that, also, you and I were majority PvEers when we first started the game too. So
True.
kind of, A1 Kibera kind of happened. I'll be honest, just investment caught up with the hero, and we can see what invested heroes can do. And an invested Kibera is incredibly powerful. I definitely can say that without a doubt. So I guess maybe we've kind of covered our side of PvP balance. Let's do the PvE balance side before we look to chat for some comments. Earl, what do you think of the PvE balance?
They need to nerf Ladia, Cecilia, damn sure.
Bring back Kara, of course.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone has their own opinions. Me specifically for World Boss, like I remember built up a 9-star Kara and like a 2-star Ladia dethroned her.
Oh my god, that happened to me too.
Yeah, I mean, you used to see, obviously World Boss 2 Roy, bust. He's still strong. He's still strong as hell, but it's like, a 1 and 2-star Cecilia can toss up a couple trillion. It makes no sense. So, I mean, PvE. We all know there's specific heroes that they need a buff, and like their soul weapons just made them even more lackluster, in my opinion. So, yeah, I don't really need to harp on it too much, to be honest with you.
That's I'll be honest, that's okay. And I'll be honest, when it comes in terms of, I think us here, you and Dex's opinion would probably hold the most weight in terms of PvE balance, considering how much you guys actually do PvE. So, I mean, and that's fair. So, yeah, Lottie on the Magic side, Cecilia on the physical side. That's honestly fair. And they are essentially the most meta units, so I cannot argue, because I literally look at all the comps, and it is Ladia and Cecilia comps in their respective world bosses.
Yeah. You got to do something about Audie too, but
no. The funny part about that you say that is I've kind of been out of the loop on PvE for a long time. Normally, what I'd do is I'd run my challenge raids, I'd run maybe GC. I've never really kept up on the world boss aspect. But the other day, I was kind of looking up some world boss 2 videos, and lo and behold, I'm looking at Audie, a magic hero, literally in the center of physical comps in world boss 2, and I was like, so this is how far
Audie
we've come.
is.
Yeah. his
Adi
soul
is the one
weapon-
that actually pulls it together. That's why.
Yeah, like, essentially when they added Adi's soul weapon, they brought back cooldown reduction meta.
Yeah.
So it's like, and like Lottie, like the top DPSs for all boss at least abuse CC reduction or cooldown reduction. So
Well, Sue, what is your opinion?
I can kind of see where Earl's talking about that because I know we do that in our guild raid. We took in Priscilla Adi, and I'm sitting here running my A2CC, and they're just resetting me, and I can't keep up with the number of times I'm doing my S2, S3. I just can't keep up. So I 100% understand where he's coming from on that regard, because that's like, it's just thinking about it is the sheer amount of damage that's coming out of it is insane.
See, this
So-
wouldn't happen if they nerf Shay's cooldown reduction.
yeah, well, Shia with her cooldown reduction was she was borderline, comparable to Shia or not to Cecilia Broken. It's like she was honestly, if you had a 5-star Shia, you really didn't need much else besides like an auto hero if you
Yep.
needed it.
Yep. I agree. I'm kind of quickly checking chat. I'm not sure if you guys are keeping up with chat. I think a lot of the stuff is actually trolling. A lot of them saying delete that furry, and one of them says buff my fur ball. The other one is nerf Adi and don't you dare nerf Adi. A lot of that stuff. But one of the comments that actually made me laugh, and this was actually, I think this references you, Earl, when I was like, "What is your comment at PVE?" and you immediately nerf Ladia and Cecilia. I think you know what that just made me laugh. I think the R2 heroes that definitely need some attention in terms of what kind of scaling are they on, especially Ladia. I've talked to Resin quite a few number of times, and even Rez, who is I believe EU's #1 world boss one
Yep.
player, even says Ladia is broken. So
Yeah.
while we continue to kind of discuss this quick topic, audience, what is your opinion on balancing? What do you think we should see? And for us in specific, Earl, what would you like to see in terms of balance? Let's just, outside of taking care of Cecilia and Ladia.
I mean,
Any kind of other
When I-
balance? Artifacts?
when artifacts. Oh my gosh, I could harp on artifacts all day long. But I mean, one route that they could do, in my opinion, is they could rework artifacts to make the useless ones more relevant, or give us like a grind option, so that way we can make selector tickets. I mean, with artifacts, you can obviously probably make it like, I don't know, 2k frags to make a selector or something like that, just to kind of help balance it out, so that way not everyone's running around with like Book of the Mads and pumpkins like left and right. But like artifacts I could harp on all day, to be honest with you, but it's like, in my opinion, when I first started off, yeah, I agree with you, Giraffe. When I first started off, I main Theo, and like now, like he's just a generalist, auto hero that I use. But it kind of saddens me, that there are just other heroes that outshine him. Period. Stuff like Louis, obviously Kara. I mean, when I was starting off on physical side, I think it was Chase was my first 5-star physical. So I mean, it's like heroes like that, they're just like niche generalist heroes. I really wish they would buff them slightly, in my opinion.
Okay. All right, and that's honestly 100% fair. One of the things that Giraffe actually just threw out was please add grind to artifacts. I think that's a feature a lot of us are requesting because, yeah, there's not much you can do with artifacts you don't want. All those sorcerous black daggers and black tomes of magic.
Tigers.
Goats.
Dex, what do you think about balancing and how do you think it could be fixed?
I mean, buff my waifu. Come on. Just kidding.
Buff my wife!
I'm a Panzerone main now. What are you talking about? She's broken.
Yeah, she kind of is, including the poster that we gotcha.
oh, she is great on the wall. Just hopefully there's no earthquake pretty soon, because she's gonna fall.
Hey, at least she'll be falling for you.
She's not on my ceiling.
Oh,
Alright.
that's fair.
Balancing. I really wish they take time to actually look at old hero gonna go back to like Lorraine and Gao because they're. I mean, Gao's niche, but then they just came out with Tally or Taily.
Yep.
Well, I'm
I was
also
like-
thinking of Mitra.
Ah!
Oh,
The power creeps with like these new heroes, like with. Yeah, Mitra was in, and then like years ago they buffed up Roy, and then it was Roy, and then Cece. Like, what the fuck with robots too? And this is going on YouTube. I should be smart.
okay.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
Boop, yeah, I'm sorry, I'll watch my language out. And then like CR heroes, who was like the speed runner for like Rodina, if there wasn't any like was it HP triggers? Yeah, Rodina is a thing. And we with Bunny, we cleared we cleared Garo within like 15 seconds with using a 10-star A220 Pansy. I was like, what?
All right.
Oh,
Well, that's definitely something, I guess.
yes,
Well,
too.
Sue, how about you? What are your thoughts about fixing balancing?
I mean, like, it's a thing that, like, it truly just, it's at the point in the game's life that it needs it. It's like live or die if we don't get balancing.
Yeah.
Because at this point, like, as Dex was saying, the power creep is very much there. Because, I mean, you look at some of the old heroes like Celine, Mitra, their abilities are just, like, a couple lines. Then you look at like someone like Cabrera or Panzerone, and it's just like this page-long paragraph of what that ability does.
Or you take a look
Like-
at somebody like Juno, who has 2 pages of skills.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, it at that point, it's like, okay, they have 5 skills instead of just 3. And especially in Juno's case, hey, I can rotate through these skills in a very rapid pattern. Like, the power creep is very much noticeable in the game. And I think they need to definitely go back and revisit some of those older heroes that have lost their luster because they just are getting outshined by all the new heroes, and try and get them back to a point where they're competitive with them.
All right. I think in regards to at least balancing, because I'm kind of looking at chat, and it looks like kind of chat has said their final words on the balancing aspect. The one thing I wanted to actually kind of hopefully make clear, and one thing I wanted to actually flat out say, I don't think Vespa should be afraid to actually buff and nerf. No matter what the game is, there are always really powerful heroes that could actually use nerfs. And once again, I will reference the fact that Kayn is incredibly powerful in that aspect. And nerfs should not be, it's something the community should expect, and not something that we should be lynching the developer for. Games like Epic 7 and Dragalia Lost and all sorts of other games, they regularly balance heroes, and that includes nerfs. So I would say that they should not be afraid to nerf, because as of, I think it's been since the Gladi nerf that they've actually slapped somebody across the wrist for an actual nerf. Ever since that last Gladi nerf way back when, they have not really nerfed heroes. It's always been buffs or adjusts.
I recall them flat out saying they're not going to no longer nerf heroes. They're going to rather buff older ones
Yep.
to a degree.
Yep.
So,
So we should at least make it clear that the community should expect nerfs on powerful heroes.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Oh, you are right too. The last nerf was the Shay nerf, where they took off the cooldown reduction on her. So you are correct. That was definitely the last nerf. All right. With that, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. This is going to be an exciting one, and an extremely sensitive one for me, because it is something that makes my heart kind of pound when we talk about it. Chapter 10 thoughts. I know if you guys are lore nerds like me, there's a lot of stuff here, especially because obviously everybody knows my favorite character is the main character, Castle. So there's a lot of stuff here for me. But I will go ahead and start off with you, Earl. What are your thoughts on Chapter 10? And for everybody watching, there are some potential spoilers. So if you guys think you're about to get spoiled, I would maybe either mute or wait a little bit before rejoining stream. So, Earl, what are your thoughts on Chapter 10?
I'm definitely going to be interested in how they handle Kasel's, him being taken over by darkness. Um, I'm more so interested in how they're going to be handling Dark Kasel and Dark Frey character kits, in my opinion. That's probably the most important thing. But staying on chapter 10, I mean, obviously we left off on a big cliffhanger, so.
Please, no more cliffhangers.
I hope they don't end chapter 10 on a cliffhanger. At least come to a good, standpoint with it. But yeah, how they handle Kasel being overtaken by darkness is definitely something I'm looking forward to.
All right, Dex.
Chapter 10. Please, no cliffhangers. But really, I'm more interested in where chapter 10 is going to be taking place in, because like one city we haven't really seen yet, and like kind of took a glimpse of like what the Empire is, but there's also another city where Artemia is held from, and where she rules. Like, we don't know any lore about that yet. I hope that's in chapter 10.
All right. Well, they did say chapter 10 was going to be huge, so there's definitely something right there. So Mickey, what are your thoughts?
I'm really interested in the direction. I have kind of my thoughts of which way it could be going, and how they're going to be handling it. Especially with the the 9.5, the chapter 9.5 stuff, where you're seeing like kind of what
All the side stories. Yeah,
all the
that was
side
a lot of
stories
stuff
and
right there.
Like I and this is my viewpoint, is I think it actually might follow some of the other characters rather than the main four that we have been following, and how they're trying to resolve this situation with Castle being taken over. So I feel like we're gonna see some more of like Scarlet Demia Kloss and Chase going on adventures to try and figure out, hey, how can we save him? We might see other aspects, like as Dex was saying, in the Empire, because we were seeing like kind of towards the end it was mentioned that, I don't even remember his name right now, but like one of the people were working with the Empire, he has like kind of fled.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling.
I think it was the Prime Minister.
That was in Crow's sub-story. Reinhardt.
Yep, Reinhardt.
Okay. So maybe we got like some more information going that way. Like I have a feeling that we might see a split story almost, and you're seeing like a few different stories simultaneously. Like these are all occurring at the same time in different places.
And like other heroes' point of view onto that sort of
Right,
thing. I really
right.
hope that too.
Well, chapter 9.5 really did have a lot of content to it, despite them calling it, half of a chapter. If you guys kind of kept up, there was a lot of stories about the Eldoria Forest, about Irvina Shore. There was a lot of just how all the heroes were kind of reacting to it. And on top of that, one of the aspects that I think a lot of people seem to have forgotten about, because it has been such a long time, is all the actual little tiny stories that were in chapter 9 itself. And one of the things that always gives me hope, because everybody knows I actually absolutely kind of detested the way the story went in terms of, my favorite boy falling into darkness and becoming the brand new Dark Lord. The Ophelia stories inside chapter 9 kind of gave a lot of prophecies out. And they talked about how the Peller would fall, but it would be reborn as something new and brighter. And more powerful. So that always kind of gave me the hope that there might be a redemption to it. One of the things the producer video said is just because we've been waiting for such a long time on chapter 10, it will definitely be huge. Now, if you guys remember, in chapter 9.5, you actually controlled Claws, which made a lot of people think that maybe going forward you might be controlling Claws for chapter maybe 10 and beyond. But essentially where it's at is we actually don't know how it's going to go. And you might continue to control Dark Lord Castle and Fallen Frey. So there's that potential right there. Or they might be left alone to the side for a little while the plot develops a little further, which I'd actually probably be the worst situation for me in specific. But at the very least for us, we can at least look forward to Dark Lord Castle and Fallen Frey in June as playable characters. I'm kind of going through chat real quick, and I'm kind of catching up. Have they gotten a lot of their side stories sorted? For the most part. I mean, we've gotten a lot of side stories themselves. Xeon is saying 3 split routes, all of it on the same time. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it in terms of Chapter 10. A lot of the comments are pretty much just what lore is. Alright. Here we
Can
go.
I add on? Oh, can I add on something
go for
onto it?
Yes, go for it, Dex.
Remember how these sub stories kind of gave some like seeds into what Chapter 9 was gonna be about?
Yeah, they all converged at Chapter 9. Yep.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed that they didn't do that for Chapter 10.
They didn't do it. I'm sorry, for what?
For Chapter 10,
Chapter 10. Oh,
I mean, like the closest thing we got was 9.5.
yeah.
But
Well, I think, you know what, it was a big turning point in the story for Chapter 9, which is probably why all the sub-stories kind of converged together at Chapter 9, because, let's be honest, that was actually, it's been a long time now, but that was a huge chapter for us in specific. A lot of stages, lots of story, lots of lore, and we all know how it ended as well. So, you know what, maybe their intention was, we might be going in a different direction when Chapter 10 drops. Tweet, you're a little late. We already talked about balancing. We're moving on. All right. So, one of our favorite topics, and I'm sure everybody's kind of excited for this. New hero thoughts. Let's start off with Zera. What are your thoughts, Earl, on Zera?
Is she I forget. Is she the one that they're talking about has like mana drain and
Yeah.
she could be like more tied to trials?
Yeah. Something like that, I think.
I think she was a single target magic wizard, right?
Wizard or Archer, I think. It was one of
I
the
think
two.
it was Wizard. They stated
Wizard?
Wizard in
Okay.
the developer thing.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I'm interested on how they handle her kit. I mean, if they keep doing the current trend, you know, more than likely her skill kit is going to be, you know, essays long. She's an archer. Well, if she's an archer, then they better do it right, because like archers are kind of scuffed. They better treat her like they did with Yane and give her a good buff if need be. I don't really know. I've only seen like screenshots of her. I'm
Yeah,
not sure how
I mean,
they're going to
we
handle
don't
it.
really don't have too much information outside of the producer video and the teaser trailer.
Yeah.
They did promise that Zera was going to be free for a limited time, and then after that, she becomes a hero you got to buy at the shop, which I thought was incredibly cool of them.
That
Yeah,
is,
Yeah.
like a test ride on the hero. Yeah, I like that aspect.
well, I don't even. Is it we're gonna be able to get her for free, or she's going to be free for a time and then you have to go and buy her?
I think it's the latter.
Huh.
Or it's gonna end up being like how Kersey was introduced.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's probably
'Cause-
going to be how Kersey is introduced. Yep.
Because I think that would be also a very interesting aspect if they start, you know, giving more free units for people to use.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
free
like
for
League
1
of
month.
Legends,
Yep.
where it's like try this hero for like 2 weeks and then recycle out again.
All right, the hero's locked. You got to pay rubies to continue using.
Yeah.
They do
No.
a subscription based on the heroes.
Oh,
I shouldn't have said that. That's
that hurts me inside.
Yeah, but Sarah, I think that I don't even know how to pronounce her yet, but
I think
single
Zera's
target
fine.
wizard, multiple uses with how she's introduced to help in Shekma raid, and then she has a PvP side onto it with mana drain. She looks like a darker version of Yuria. It's weird to actually see that. I'm like, huh. But new waifu, new laifu.
No waifu, no life. Sue, what are your thoughts on Zera?
I'm here for it. I mean, I play the game because I like waifus, so I was just like saw her and I was like, I like that and I want that. So, I'm interested to see what she kind of does. You guys probably have more insight on like the type of things that she's doing than I have because I have not looked into it whatsoever.
Well, we
So-
don't know too much ourselves, really. We're kind of speculating.
Right. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if she has that like niche thing where it's like I'm helping with this raid but also PvP, because then maybe you can start looking at that PvE PvP balance where they can like do a little bit of both.
Okay.
So,
I don't have really too much to say on Zera, other than the fact that I do kind of look forward to seeing new heroes. I always love new heroes myself. And anytime a new one comes out, one of the things that comes across my mind is how do I want to use this hero? And first and foremost, it usually goes into the PvP aspect. It's like, can I make this hero work in PvP? And usually if that answer is yes, I end up picking up the hero, and then I watch and see if I can make him work in PvE. And it was really funny because I actually did that with Tally when she released, if you guys remember, because the first thing I did is I hosted a Welcome Home Tally stream, and I took her into League of Honor. And then it wasn't until after I wrapped up League of Honor, I was like, okay, let's go ahead and pull her into Earth Trial and see how this goes. So, I think with that kind of said, I'm kind of read up on some of the comments. Left Tier says, with 2 new heroes being added, I do hope that one of them will be strong in Eclipse. We do need more budget-friendly hero that can farm the Golden Ethers. Not a lot of people can invest into an A2 hero.
Yep.
And I think one of the things they said that they were definitely going to address Eclipse and the difficulty of Eclipse. So on top of maybe having a hero that would be good in Eclipse, I think they're going to be adjusting the difficulty of Eclipse.
Yeah, because like, wasn't
it's-
Hardno supposed to be good for Eclipse? And Kane, but
She's
Yeah.
still good, but then it's like people figured out you could just burst stuff down with Celine.
Celine.
And Epis and just abuse high star morphing.
Yeah.
It kind of like it put Rehartna into like, you know, she's like viable
She's
in
a shield
flow
bot.
trial. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
shield and cooldown reduction bot. Alright.
Yeah, that's essentially it. Alright, here's one we actually don't know too much about, except that Chad has been asking about him. I actually don't know outside the fact that he's just a brand new hero. Evan! The new Husbando that nobody knows a dang thing about. Not sure if we
hot
can give too many
boy.
thoughts.
Yeah. I don't know jack
Did you
shit
just
about
call him a
him.
hot boy?
Hot boy!
I mean, really, guys, I'm not sure. I'm going to let you guys talk on Evan. I really don't know too much besides the fact that he's a brand new hero. He's a Husbando that's going to be coming out, and that's all I know.
Yeah, people are speculating, at least from my scene, he's probably gonna be an archer.
Archer?
So, possibly. That's just all
Speculation.
all hot wash talk. Yeah.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Kinda looks like a priest to me for some reason.
You think?
I don't know.
Maybe it's because of the long
He
hair?
kinda has an edgy priest type of thing happening.
Melee healer? Oh, Bunny is
Melee
bringing up a
healer.
point. Could be a melee healer, because, you know, Shakma
That's-
said that.
That's something
Oh.
I've always been interested in, was always hoping for, was a melee healer.
Yeah.
But then we got
I-
A1 Loman, we got Castle.
No, I mean like an actual healer role.
Like in their kit wise, not just based
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
soul weapon. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I've always like, and this applies to any game I've played. There's not very melee healers, like not very many as far as I
No,
can
they're
think
not.
of.
No.
And I personally think that would be an amazing concept of just someone healing through like close up arts or something like that. I don't know.
Kind of like a paladin type deal where, you know, they could
Kind
be like
of.
an off tank per se, but then also have like a heal or so somewhere in their kit.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of speculation on Evan. Could be a melee healer. One of the things that they talked about, which we didn't really mention too much about, was the fact that they were going to do ranged tanks as well. So that
Range tanks.
yeah, and I think it was a requirement in Shakma or something like that. There was something about ranged tanks as well. So we
And-
the actual spectrum of heroes and I think comps is probably going to increase a lot, especially if they do introduce ranged tanks. So
And I think that's something that kind of applies to it, because I've also heard that there's 2 phases to it. You have a melee phase and a ranged phase.
Yes, there was something
So-
about that.
You would almost need a melee healer to keep your units alive when in a melee phase, and you need a ranged tank in order to keep your units alive in the ranged phase. I mean, we've kind of seen that with like Trial of Sky, where we've had to use some ranged tanking in that regard, but like an actual dedicated ranged tank.
I
They
think you
should have
just,
made Glenwith. Dang it.
just advance 2 and Audi and you get yourself a range tank right there.
It's okay, I just throw Raquena in front of the line.
I
Yeah.
mean, if Glenwith used her gun rather than just Olia in her
Yeah.
S1, that would have been a thing, but dang.
Yeah.
well, I don't have really too much thoughts on Evan myself. Like I said, kind of said what I did. We'll see what it's
Edgy
like when it
hot
comes
boy.
out.
He's new as Bondo. I mean, that's gonna appease some people.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
always a
it's
plus.
really funny because if you guys remember when Lucius released with Krisha, and even though Krisha was a sleeper and she was a lot better, people were just so more excited because we got a brand new Husbando in the game that didn't look like I can't say the word because we're on stream, but he looked like ASS. So everybody was excited about Lucius because he was the first priest to not look like one. And just completely overshadowed Krisha, who was quite a sleeper for a long time. So we'll see what Evan's like if he comes out. So one of the topics I'm kind of looking forward to, and I've made my promise to the community, and I made my promise to terrorize North America with this. In June, we are going to be getting Dark Lord Castle and Fallen Fray.
Yes.
And
yes,
if everybody
yes,
knows who I am planning on obviously a 2-ink plus 20, 25-star Dark Lord Castle on the
You?
first day.
You of all people?
I plan to terrorize
yeah,
North America with
expected.
Dark Lord Castle. I hope you guys look forward to it. But
So,
we'll
which is-
start off with Earl. What is your thoughts on Dark Lord Castle and Fallen Fray?
If I recall, his kit is pretty interesting. So.
Well, it's probably going to be balanced for actual player usage instead
Oh
of just
yeah,
being.
yeah, certainly. Oh yeah, certainly. I mean,
He has a suck. He has
Besides-
a blow.
I mean, between the two, I'm definitely excited for them. I'm hoping. I think they've already confirmed. The devs already confirmed they're gonna try and keep their kits more in line, with their original bases, or maybe that's like their DP, their character classes. I think I'm probably getting mixed up, but Dark Castle seems pretty badass. If his kit's more PvP oriented, I could get into PvP.
Oh,
knows?
I
He-
see
he-
Earl coming on it!
He
Edgelord,
he
edgelord,
may be a
edgelord.
world boss sleeper. Who knows? I mean, he's definitely something I'm looking forward to, though.
Okay. All right. Well, Dex? What do
He's
you think?
definitely a mechanic. I can tell you that right now.
Dex, we're going to skip you? Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on Dark Lord Castle and Fallen Fray, Dex?
Oh. As much as I torrented the just 14 or like 10 hours of trying to beat that stage, oh, I am so hyped for that. Oh my god. Oh,
You think it's going to be a PvP or PvE hero? Or both?
seeing how like Zera is and how they stated like, oh yeah, we're gonna have units kind of specialize in one content. It's gonna be all around. I expect this to be all around already.
Okay. All right. That's
With
fair.
Frey, I don't think she's gonna be a priest. She's most likely gonna be a wizard.
You think she's going to be a wizard?
Yeah.
Okay.
She didn't really have a heal.
She, if you played the 9.5 story, I think she did. Her S1 and her
Oh, yeah,
shield
yeah,
were
yeah,
still
she
heals.
did.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just it's different in terms of. I guess maybe at this point is we'll just see what it's going to be like, but
Yeah.
I think she might retain her priest status. She might, and she
But
could be a
that
wizard.
that S3 was kind of like a Aisha S, and it
Lightning
also had
beam.
like attack reduction.
Yeah,
I
something
remember.
like that. Earl, you actually didn't comment. What about Fallen Fray? What do you think?
Fallen Frey. I mean, if she's as annoying as she was in the hell mode, in the Castle Frey hell mode stage, I mean, her kit is pretty interesting. I mean, she has a channeling aspect. If she keeps us, if she does also have a heal somewhere in there, I mean, that could always work. I'm more so interested in like if she does have a shield, can it be just as good as Frey, like the original Frey? Can it stack along with it? Something more utility. That's always something I look for, at least,
All right.
especially if they keep her as a priest.
All right, that's actually very fair. And yes, a lot of us usually question what can stack and what can't stack. Samiki, what about your thoughts on Dark Lord Castle and Fallen Fray?
I'm terrified of seeing your double castle and Val's double Frey comp running around. I'm terrified.
Oh goodness.
But no, I'm actually really hyped for it. All of us were kind of expecting them to be skins at a point, so for them to come out and announce that they're actual playable heroes, that was a huge, huge thing. And I thought that was an amazing idea to take and have like a second version of like your MC heroes,
Yeah.
because
You
they
think-
did Corrupted by Darkness.
Do you think they're still gonna have the same voice actors though?
I don't
That's a
think
good
so
question.
because we already heard Castle's actual English voice, and obviously the Japanese one, and that was Kaito Ishikawa. I don't, and we've already kind of heard some of their, I guess, grunts or something. You know what? I don't think they will. I do not think they will.
I mean, it would make sense. They're entirely new characters.
Different. They're
quote
very
unquote.
different.
So
Yes.
it would make sense to have different voice actors.
I would find it incredibly just shocking if I cast normal Castle's S3 and I hear him, you know, with his happy-go-lucky voice, shout power of the goddess, and then I hear Dark Lord Castle use his S3 in the same exact voice, but it's just something a lot more demonic. That'd probably be unnerving.
That would be like okay, I'm gonna mute this for now.
Yeah, that'd be a little scary. But in terms of myself, I kind of already said it. I'm looking forward to this. Castle is my one and only. However, Dark Lord Castle is still Castle himself, so he will hold a very special slot in my heart. And yes, if it is certainly possible to run both in the same comp, which I assume will be 100% possible because they are being treated as brand new heroes, I will be terrorizing North America with both a double Castle comp. So I hope you guys can
Let
look
one of
forward
them
to it.
have with the spell, please.
If the Dark Lord Castle has a dispel, my
yeah.
comp is already perfect and ready to go.
Oh yeah.
I'd be good to go. So, NA, I hope you're ready. I love you guys. I'm gonna show you what terror looks like.
I think I'm gonna stick to World Boss.
Oh, come on, Earl. Don't chicken out that quick, please.
I'll let you terrorize NA without me.
Tell me when you queue.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to avoid
okay.
that time.
Yeah, fair enough.
It would just be an honor just to get like one shot by it. I'm like,
It'd be an hon- Did you just say it would be an honor? It'd be an honor to be one shot by Dark Lord Castle.
Dex, I already get one shot. I'd rather not get double one shot.
Oh, whatever, pies. Okay. All right, so we're getting very close to kind of wrapping it up. Let's go ahead with our last few topics. Future content. I think this is an exciting topic because everybody's probably going to have something else. Earl, what would be your hopes for future content in terms of King's Raid?
Another World Boss.
Another world boss.
ooh.
Yeah, one. Now that if they did do another World Boss, I would prefer to have it to where it would be balanced for both physical and magic teams. Like there wouldn't be some, like World Boss 3, 30% crit resist, where it's like, you essentially have to run either excess crit or like on physical side, you got to run more crit per se, or you could run a Juno, which majority of people do. But then like with magic, you have Lav, her skill 1 completely counters like that mechanic. So magic is more dominant in World Boss 3 plus Saria. So if they did, that would be my main aspect, is if they added another World Boss or some type of challenge rate or something like that, then it would be beneficial to both damage types and not so heavily favorable to one, because they already do that in these World Bosses at least.
Okay, that's honestly a very fair, and I'll be honest, I don't disagree with you. I'm good with that, and I would look forward to another world boss. I mean, World Boss 3 came out of nowhere, so that was actually really cool to see. Dex, what would you like to see in terms of future content?
Well, with how Chapter 10 is going to be coming out, I'm very interested in what the gear set is going to be.
Oh, you think we're gonna move to tier 9 gears? Tier 9, yeah, it would be T9 gears.
T9? Oh, I am not ready to upgrade those. I want to see more sub-stories, actually. Sub-stories are actually pretty cool, because like you get to know more of the backstory than just like a paragraph on the index and how they came to be. We still don't know what's on freaking Empire and Artemia's well, not Panty, but what is it called? Like Pentorona or something like that? I forgot what it's called. No, it's not Pentorona. I know it starts with a P, just don't know what it is. But I want to see like more content with that and sub stories, more gear sets. Make the game more exciting to try and throw that out there.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, actually, League of Crown. When the hell is
You
that gonna
got
come
it.
out?
That's actually that was a
Yes.
really cool comment. I was actually going to bring that up myself, but kind of Meister beat me to it in chat. He was talking about Team PvP,
Oh, yeah.
which a lot of us are assuming is League of Crowns.
Yep. You got to it before I was gonna say.
Oh,
it
were
too,
you
'cause I
also
was gonna
on
say
board?
that.
So a lot of
Oh,
us are
yeah.
kind of curious what League of Crowns
I mean,
is.
It's something that's sat there since I started the game
Yep.
2 years ago, and there's nothing been done about it. So you know it was future content, and we just have never seen it.
Lack of crowns, I mean. Well, I'm hoping that with a lot of the latency issues starting to be addressed, and if you guys saw the producer video, they are planning on revamping the entire architecture of the game. So if it fixes a lot of the lag and disconnect, and fixes up a lot of that stuff, I would not mind seeing a kind of like a League of Crowns where we do team PvP. Like for example, like giving a clear example, like for example, like Earl and I team up to go against Udex and Samiki, and we have a PvP match with like, I don't know, 3v3 or something like that of that nature. I thought that would be really incredibly cool. So I don't know.
I mean, it's a more coordinated thing that you'd have to do, but
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah,
as you were,
or
well,
matchup
I was
could
also
be matchmaking.
Well, I was also just thinking of, you said 3v3. What if you had teams of 3 where each person controls their one character that they put in?
There could be that too. There definitely could be that too, and it'd be really interesting because you'd probably always have either that person's strongest hero or some people working to see if they can get some comp synergy going. So that'd be some cool stuff. Did I address the new user interface design? We kind of touched on it. There's a lot of plans that Vespa is planning on doing. We really don't know too much about it at this point, though. I mean, like I said, they are planning on kind of rehauling the architecture of the game to see if we can take care of a lot of the messy code, aka spaghetti code, among other things. So we'll see what it's gonna be like. All right. I think with that said, let's hang on. Left Tier also wanted to say, I would like to see Chapter 10 to have new gear sets, and at the same exact time, nothing game breaking. It would hurt everyone, especially those that farm DL for so long. Let's hope that they don't make those obsolete. Okay. I mean, that's kind of fair. So maybe new gear sets, and you touched up on that yourself. Dex and Earl, you guys were talking about gear sets, so we'll see kind of how that's going to be like. I don't know, really. I think with that kind of said, we can finally just move on to our last portion, which is closing comments. Earl, would you like to say any kind of closing comments or concerns before we wrap up today's podcast?
I ain't got nothing much to say, to be honest. Thank you guys for having me on here. I'm glad to get to talk to some of the big name PvPers at least, and get my input from World Boss at least in PvE.
Feelings mutual when we talk to a big PvEer too. Dex, how about you? Any closing comments?
We'll see how Chapter 10 and all these updates are gonna come out. And really, it's so good to actually just talk about things on a podcast, or what do you state it as? Flintcast?
That was not me. They named that Flintcast Friday. It's just a podcast. We'll keep it at a podcast.
Flintcast Fridays. Let's make it a weekly thing, because this is actually fun.
I'm glad you like it. What about you, Saviki? What are you closing comments?
I mean, it's stuff we've stated. Like, I feel if they really buckle down, get a lot of the balancing issues out, and look at good ways to retain players, I think they're going to be going in a great direction, and they're going to be much more successful than they are as of this point. So I feel if they just kind of really focus in on that, and that's what it sounds like they're going to be doing, it's going to make a huge difference in the game, and it's going to make it a much more enjoyable experience for all of us.
All right. Okay. All right. I think with the majority of that said, Earl, Dex, Samiki, thank you guys so much for joining me today. It was honestly, it kind of like Dex said, it was extremely awesome to just simply talk about the game, talk about the state of it, talk about what's going on, what might happen. I don't know if we can make this as a weekly thing because we will probably easily run out of stuff to talk, but I would not mind making this maybe
Bi-weekly.
like once every 2 weeks. Yeah, bi-weekly, once every 2 weeks or so. This way you always have like at least a patch to talk about or something of that nature. So, and like I said, I mean, next patch we'll probably expect some new heroes, so it's always nice to probably touch up on the heroes that come out and the content that may follow with it too. Again, you guys, thank you so much. For everybody who's still in chat, thank you guys for kind of tuning in today. Stick around. I'm going to be placing up a raffle courtesy of Jen. And if you guys have any comments, I would not mind reading them as we prep for the actual raffle. Earl, Dex, Samiki, one last thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, my friends, let me go ahead and throw up the link to the raffle in the chat box. Please only enter once. We will make it short and sweet. There are going to be 3 days, or 3 days, 3 prizes, courtesy of Jen. Just go ahead, fill that form out. I'll give you guys roughly 2 or 3 minutes or so to kind of get it going. While that is being completed, you guys, we do have one stream tomorrow morning, usual time, 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We will probably not do League of Honor because it is the last day and the snipes get a little serious, but I'll definitely do League of Victory. If you guys would like, I can show you guys Earth 8 clears with Tally. It is not merchandise. No, it is a gift card. It is a gift card raffle. So we'll do a few things tomorrow, including a Build My League of Victory comp. Discord LOH stream. We'll think about it. But yeah, you better put yourself in the raffle. No, I'm okay. I appreciate the offer though, Jen. But like I said, go ahead, get that form filled out. I'll give you guys another 2 minutes or so, and then we'll get ready to kind of wrap it up. And you know what? Let's go ahead and get some raffle music in here. Let's go ahead and do this. We haven't run the wheel yet, so calm down. Alright, you guys got 30 seconds left to get your name onto that raffle. 30 seconds. You want to hug my Scarlet? Alright, Jen, calm down. Thank you for the follow, Misk. And to everyone else who also followed me to stream, I really appreciate it. Thank you, Yune. Thank you, Manny Sky, and thank you, Zcat. Really appreciate the follows, guys. Gwen, thank you for the Prime sub, and I really appreciate it, guys. Flimpa one, excuse me. And while we continue to kind of get everything together, I will drop a link to my Discord. You guys always have a lot of cool things in the Discord, including raffles and stream information, etc., etc. So make sure you give it a join. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and prep the wheel. Give me 2 seconds. All right, you guys ready? Let's go ahead and get this started. Let me put the proper music in. You guys ready? Here we go. All right, our first winner. Congratulations, Poon. Wow, what happened to the wheel? Let me scroll down a little bit. Congratulations on your win, Poon. Go ahead and reach out to Jen, who will go ahead and get you the prize taken care of. And congratulations to you, Poon. All right, our second winner is... Congratulations, Dex! There you go. Maybe joining today's stream was totally worth it. Congratulations on your win, Dex. Go ahead, reach out to Jen when you can, and he will go ahead and get you your raffle win. I'm kind of keeping up on chat on my other speed, so give me a second, guys. Alright, and finally, for our last win. Congratulations, the non-Caucasian male identified as the retarded Flynn by Breville. Congratulations, Pies. Go ahead and reach out to Jen, and he will definitely go ahead and get you your winning prize. Let's go ahead and hop back into the A. That was one heck of a name, Pies. To everybody, congratulations on the wins. Glad you guys got that. Yep, that was definitely a long name. You guys, thank you for joining me on this Friday evening for a podcast stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Nothing makes me happier than a simple follow, so if you guys just throw in a follow, it'll be all worth it to me. If you guys have not joined the Discord, I will throw in the link one last time. Go ahead and join the Discord. Thank you for the follow, Lunite. I will see you guys first thing tomorrow morning, where we will go ahead and we will wrap up the League of Honor season. I think that's about it. I really can't think of anything else. Everybody have a wonderful night. I love you guys, and I will definitely see you guys tomorrow.